Hello, my fellow Heliason heroes. So I just finished episode 2 for the tips and tricks. I wanted to kind of like bridge off of that, but not so much on the coloring part. Is is your materials in particular. So in the last video, I talked about how I have these bleeding cards because I have alcoholic markers that bleed through the paper. And, the materials about you can have a great color piece with pencil. You don't have to go out and buy these expensive markers that I bought. I just prefer them versus pencils because it doesn't irritate my senses as much. But in the sense of that is like, if you have an alcoholic marker, you can't just use a standard piece of paper because what ends up happening is that it bleeds through so much that you can't it just ruins the picture. And if you have colored pencils and you try to use it on an oil pastel painting, then it doesn't transfer over as well. So, it's all about just using the right material on the right materials. So for me, this is the blending cards that I use with the actual Copic markers that I have. Fuck. Oh, it's one of the dogs. If you have colored pencils, you want to make sure your canvas can support colored pencil use. If you have a charcoal poster, then you only want to use charcoal because that's what will transfer over the best. If you have oil painting pastels, then that's what you want to use. And that is a lot of things that I feel like a lot of people make mistakes on is they use the wrong kind of piece of paper. If you use a standard piece of paper for watercolorings, the paper gets damp and the color gets messier. If you used normal piece of paper instead of blending cards for alcoholic markers, the ink bleeds through and therefore you have less saturation overall. So yeah, you got to be super careful with that. That's a big thing that I started learning as I started transitioning over. Now what I did with this was I just did it in fine ink. You don't have to do that. But again, notice that this is the blending card. It's the same texture, it's the same style as this one is right here. And in fact, so see, these are the same ones. I just use Expressit blending cards because that's what it likes. They are, so see, it says specially selected for alcohol markers. So they help prevent the bleeding. So, you just got to be careful with what materials you use. And like I said, you don't have to go out and buy the super expensive shit. If your budget $20, go get a nice set of colored pencils for $20. You don't have to have the top into your shit. Now, granted, it will help in the long run. And if you feel yourself peaking at your max coloring, maybe it's time to switch over to a more premium color set. Again, that's completely optional. But that was the case for me, was I felt like I could no longer grow from the colored pencils. So I switched over to alcohol markers, and I feel my results have gotten better. And I've still got room to grow and learn. Never stop learning. Art isn't it a wonderful thing to learn about different styles, different textures, different animes. Not animes. There's a technique that starts with an A. Apposition, I think it is. Basically kind of deals with your depth of perception, different postures and positions, different shadings, all helps factor into your specific goals. So with that in mind, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.